And following the deadly insurrection at the US Capitol by pro-Trump rioters, serious scrutiny and security concerns have gripped Washington. US defense officials are now worried about an insider attack or other threat from service members securing the inauguration. An insider attack threat from those involved in safeguarding the inauguration of Joe Biden has prompted the FBI to vet all of the National Guard troops coming into Washington for the event. So far, there have been no evidence of any threats, but as the inauguration approaches, Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy has warned commanders to be on the lookout for any problems within their ranks.
We've also been vetting them through the FBI, getting support from the Federal Bureau of Investigation to continue the vetting of every man and woman that come here. We have a process to our JRSOI process where we vet them. So we're continually going through the process and taking second, third looks at every one of the individuals assigned to this operation.
One of the things that I think we're learning and lessons learned is that we'll need to take those credible threats seriously. We have actionable intel, as always, and the National Guard is reviewing that, and we're prepared to do what we need to do in order to support the citizens of our nation. And as citizen soldiers, we all come from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and we have different ideas. But when we don this uniform, we have one mission at hand, and that is to do what is necessary to protect America.
About 25,000 members of the National Guard are streaming into Washington from across the country. This is at least 2.5 times the number for previous inaugurals. The threats against Biden's inauguration have been fueled by Trump supporters, far-right militants, white supremacists and other radical groups. Though the Secret Service is in charge of event security, a wide variety of military and law enforcement personnel are also involved in the bolstering of security. And for more on this, we earlier spoke to our correspondent Jagriti Dave in Washington, D.C. about the kind of security measures in place to avoid things from getting out of hand. Let's listen in.
We're hearing from the FBI, who've said that there is a possibility of unrest in every single state in the United States. And so many state capitals have been on high alert since then. There have been protests at several places in the country outside several state buildings today. But many of them were small. And according to reports, the media and lawmakers outnumbered many of the demonstrators. Some of those were armed. Some protesters were armed, as you saw in places like Michigan and in Austin, Texas. But I think the mass unrest of the kind that we saw, in the United States, Washington, D.C. and the Capitol, haven't yet manifested. But I think looking at the state of Washington right now, with it being essentially looking quite like a fortress, I think nobody is, standing down just yet. Everyone is very much on alert for the possibility of further protest on the day of the inauguration itself.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.